Hello class 6, how are you all? Children, in the previous video we started with chapter number 3, Saviors of the Train, and we read about Roberta, who's also called Bobby, her younger brother Peter, and her younger sister Phyllis. Now all these children, all three children were out picking cherry blossom, and while they were out, they reached a place from where the railway line was clearly visible. Now that railway line was laid after cutting a huge part of a rock on which trees had grown. So while they were picking cherry blossoms, they heard a strange noise. Now, and when they looked in the direction of the sound, they saw that the remaining part of the rock where the trees had grown was breaking up, and the trees were moving down, and after some time the entire rock with all the trees that were grown on it, plus the bushes and everything else, came crashing down onto the railway line. Now seeing this, Peter remembered that at 11:29 in the morning a train was supposed to go through that area, and he realizes that if the railway station is not informed about it, if the station master is not informed about this accident, then about this landslide, then the train which is supposed to arrive to pass through that in a short while will meet with the frightful accident. So there was not much time for them to go to the railway station and inform the station master. So what they decided was that they would use something which was red in color. They would wave it high in the air, so that the engine driver sees it from the distance and reduces the speed of the train, and they hoped that eventually the engine driver will stop the train much before the place from where the landslide had occurred. So till here we had read in so far, and we'll continue with the remaining part of the chapter now. So let us begin. So we were doing page number 40. Okay, so let's get started. They got down the steep stairs. Bobby was pale and shivering. Peter's face looked thinner than usual. Phyllis was red-faced and damp with anxiety. "Oh, how hot I am," she said. "And I thought it was going to be cold. I wish we hadn't put on our..." She stopped short and then ended in quite a different tone. "Our woolen scarves." Bobby turned at the bottom of the stairs. "Oh yes," she cried. "They are red. Let's take them off." They did, and then ran along the railway, skirting the newly fallen mound of stones and rock and earth and bent, crushed, twisted trees. They ran at their best pace. Peter led, but the girls were not far behind. They reached the corner that hid the mound from the straight line of railway that ran half a mile without curve or corner. "Now we have got the scarves," said Peter. He looked at the watch again. "And we have got 7 minutes. We must have flagstaffs." So all three of them start climbing down the wooden stairs, and because they had witnessed that horrible landslide and they were worried about the safety of the passengers of the train, that it was soon to arrive or soon to pass through that area, everybody was reacting differently. Like Bobby was shivering out of fear, out of nervousness. Her face had turned pale, it had become dull, whereas Phyllis, on the other hand, her face had turned red and she started feeling very hot. And so she says that she thought that it would be very cold for them outside, but because of this she's feeling very hot, and she wished that she had not worn the woolen scarves. Now the moment Phyllis mentions the scarf, Bobby, who was at the bottom of the stairs, turned and shouted in excitement because the scarf which all three of them were wearing was red in color. And Bobby asks them to take off that scarf, which they all did, and they started running along the railway line. And after crossing the mound of the fallen earth, they reached a corner of the hill, or the corner of they reached a corner from where the mound was hidden, but the straight railway line was clearly visible. So Peter says that now, because we have got scarf which is red in color, and we still have got 7 minutes, we should have a flagstaff. Now flagstaff is a stick on which flags are fixed, like we have in our school. Whenever we have when we have investiture ceremony, each house captain carries a flag with him while marching, and that flag is fixed on a stick, on a pole sort of a thing. So that is called a flagstaff. So Peter asks them that now because we have got the scarf, we must fix it on something to use it as a flagstaff. Quickly the children cut holes in the flags and ran the sticks through them. Then they stood ready to wave the red flags as soon as the train came in sight. Bobby began to feel sick with suspense. It seemed to her that they had been standing there for hours and hours, holding those silly little red flags that no one would ever notice. The train wouldn't care. It would go rushing by them and tear round the corner and go crashing into that awful mound, and everyone would be killed. Her hands grew very cold and trembled so that she could hardly hold the flag. And then came the distant rumble and hum of the metals, and a puff of white steam showed far away along the stretch of line. So all three children quickly find their own sticks, and they tie their red scarf onto it, and they take their position along the railway line and waited for the train. Now there was still time for the train to pass through that area, but Bobby, who was waiting for the train with her red flag, felt as if she had been waiting for many hours. She believed that the train will be traveling with such a great speed, it will be traveling so fast that nobody will be able to see the children waving red flags from the distance. As a result, the train will pass through and will hit that mound of fallen earth. It will be a very terrible accident, and everyone traveling on that train will meet their death. So thinking this, her hands turned cold and she started trembling, and she found it very difficult to hold that flag. But after some time, the children could hear the low humming sound of the train, and they could also see at a distance the puff of white smoke that was coming out of the train's engine. "Stand firm," said Peter, "and wave like mad. As the train comes closer, step back, but go on waving. Don't stand on the line, Bobby." The train came rattling along very, very fast. The front of the engine looked black and enormous. Its voice was loud and harsh. Now all three children were standing next to the railway line. So the moment Peter sees the train, which was quite far away, he tells his sister that as the train comes closer, they should they should move away from the railway line, but they should go on waving the flag like a mad person. And then he warns Bobby not to stand on the railway line, but to be away from it so that nothing happens to them. And very soon the train came closer, and as it came closer, the engine of the train appeared very enormous, very huge, to them, and it was whistling. That sound was very loud. "Oh, stop, stop, stop," cried Bobby. No one heard her. At least Peter and Phyllis didn't, for the oncoming rush of the train covered the sound of her voice with a mountain of sound. But afterwards she used to wonder whether the engine itself had not heard her. It seemed almost as though it had, for it slackened swiftly, slackened and stopped, not 20 yards from the place where Bobby's two flags waved over the line. She saw the great black engine stop dead, but somehow she could not stop waving the flags. And when the driver and the firemen had got off the engine, and Peter and Phyllis had gone to meet them and pour out their excited tale of the awful mound just round the corner, Bobby still waved the flags, but more and more feebly and jerkily. As the train came closer, Bobby started shouting in order to warn the engine driver about the danger ahead. She started shouting, "Stop, stop." But the sound of the oncoming train was so loud that even Peter and Phyllis were not able to hear her sound. But later on, she found that the speed of the train has slowed down. The moment the engine driver saw that red flag being waved by the children, he immediately reduced the speed of the train, and eventually the train came to a halt. Now, when the train stopped, Peter and Phyllis, they ran to the engine driver and the fireman, person who is responsible for fueling the engine with coal in order to run the train. Okay, so both the engine driver and the fireman, they got down from the cabin, and Peter and Phyllis rushed to them, and very excitedly they told them about the landslide. Now, while they were narrating that incident to the train driver and the fireman, Bobby was standing where she was already standing, and she was still waving the flag. She had not stopped waving the flag, although the train had come to a halt. But you can say, speed of waving had reduced. Now it was more, she was waving the flag, but it was very slow movement and it was little jerky. When the station was reached, the three were the heroes of an agitated meeting on the platform. The praises they got for their prompt action, their common sense, their ingenuity were enough to have turned anybody's head. Phyllis enjoyed herself thoroughly. She had never been a real heroine before, and the feeling was delicious. Peter's ears got very red, yet he too enjoyed himself. Only Bobby wished they all wouldn't. She wanted to get away. "Oh, come away, come away. I want to go home," she said. As the train could not move ahead, it went back, it reversed and went back to the station. The three children, along with the engine driver and the fireman, when they got down on the platform, they were greeted by people who came to know about the incident. And when the engine driver told the people about how they were warned by these three children about the landslide and saved everyone's life, people were very excited and they praised the deeds of the children. They were amazed to know, they were very surprised to realize or to know that children who were so young were able to avoid such a horrible accident. And they started praising them for their action, for their common sense, and for their ingenuity. Ingenuity is ability to solve problem quickly, because many times what happens is when people are stuck in a situation, when they are witnessing something which is very horrible, many a times people get stuck and they are not able to find solutions. But the children even though they were so young, they were able to think quickly, and they planned their action well in advance in such a way that they were able to save the train and its passengers from the accident. So now when everybody was praising them, Phyllis was enjoying, because she was getting all the attention. She had never been a heroine, but in the eye of the people, she was a heroine. She was a very, she was somebody who has acted very smartly, very confidently. So she was enjoying that attention. Phyllis was also enjoying the attention, but he was feeling a little embarrassed, and that is why his ears had turned red. Whereas Bobby, she was not at all liking all the attention, and so she wanted to head back home, and she tells her brother and sister to move towards the home.